If you're just starting out perfumery and you got your first materials and now you feel kind of afraid that you're going to run out of them, you don't know what to expect, you feel like it's going to be super expensive, this video is for you because I'm going to explain to you what it feels like. Since now I'm going through my first time when I truly run out of materials. And what I can say is that it's not as scary as it feels like. Because when I first started out, I thought, I bought hundreds of materials, I'm going to run out of them in a few months, and then I will have to restock all of them, and it's going to cost me hundreds and thousands of euros to do that. But the reality is that now that I'm running out of materials, I'm running out of maybe 5 or 6 or 10 of the most used materials, because those make up like 80% of the fragrance, or most of the fragrances that I create myself or that I have seen formulas for online. Something like Galaxolide, Vanillin, Ambrofix, these are the ones that run out. Coumarin, Tomka, Hideon, Isoy Super, these ones run out. These ones have run out for me. Also Vetiver, Ambrosinide. But like I said, these make up the majority of the formula bases and whatnot. And the other small percentage of the materials used, they are used in trace quantities. So something like manzanite, which is used for apple accords, or spices like black pepper, pink pepper, eugenol. These ones, you don't use them in large quantities, so it will last for a longer time. And most of my bottles are still more than half full. And I've been learning perfumery for over a year now, building fragrances quite often. By this point, I've made over 200 different experiments. And like I said, these 5 or 10 are the ones that I now run out of. And what is the experience? Well, it's not as horrible as you think. The only bad thing is that now I have to wait until they arrive again. Now I have to buy them again. But the order value of this is not more than 100 euros because it's just 5 to 10 materials that I need to restock. This would be different, of course, after I launch my brand and I need to order, all the materials for all the formulas because I'll be blending them so often. That is a completely different situation than when you're starting out and you just want to build your skill as a perfumer and learn different things. I live in Europe, so for me, part of the fear of the confusion about restocking materials was also that I did not want to buy, 1-2 bottles from the supplier where I order. I order from UK, Harrison Joseph. Great store, great service. The materials are high quality. The thing though is, if I just want to order 3 bottles, since I run out of them, I cannot really do that because the shipping costs would be more expensive than the materials itself. The shipping plus importing. But recently I learned that there are so many different suppliers in Europe which you can order from that it's really not a problem. I can use Harrison Joseph as my main supplier for my brand or for finding unique materials that other stores do not offer. But if I need to restock something like 1 bottle of Hideon, I can just buy from any of the shops in Europe, which the shipping is not as expensive. The shipping maybe is even faster in some situations. And I don't have to pay tax, and I just ordered 1 bottle. It's not much different than ordering anything else online. That was one misconception I had, is that I have to order from the same supplier all the time. One more point I want to mention is that now that I run out of some of these materials, it doesn't stop me from creating fragrances. It doesn't stop me from experimenting. It just makes me avoid those specific directions. For example, if I run out of Galaxolide, well, I will not be creating bases that contain Galaxolide. I can still create bases. I can still create fragrances. And frankly, if I'm making a fragrance and it calls for Galaxolide, I could use any other musk. And sure, it's not going to be the same smell, but like if I am testing the top notes of that fragrance, or I just want to see what the overall profile is like, using a different musk is not going to be the end of the world. It's only important if I'm really obsessed about having the same exact material and I want perfect precision in the formula, which in my case is not really what I'm going for, since when I'm blending, I'm trying to just understand how things work together, what different combinations and balances create, and what different, scent profiles I can create, which means I can either avoid that specific material or replace it, or just skip it and then add it later on when I buy it. The only thing that does stop my blending is if I run out of pipettes or if I run out of bottles where to put my experiments in, and those I order from Temu most of the time. for quite a cheap price. So hopefully this video answered some of the doubts for you if you are having the same experience as I had and you're worrying that you cannot really experiment, you don't want to waste your materials because you feel like you'll have to restock all your hundreds of bottles or whatever you have, and you're hesitant to learn because of that. Just keep experimenting. This will teach you which materials you actually need, and those ones you can buy more of, which is going to give you a better price in the long term, because when you buy a larger bottle, you pay less for milliliter. So like if you buy 20 grams of Hideon, you'll pay less per gram than if you buy 5 grams. The upfront cost will be slightly larger, but you're paying less per gram, if that makes sense.